Now coming back to Lord Dalhousie's policies of how did the annexation of Awadh happen. Now we are aware of the subsidiary alliance. Now let us understand how did the annexation of Awadh happen. So we see that British they went on to acquire the control of different regions under different reasons and different strategies they came up to acquire different region. Jhansi Nagpur Satara using doctrine of lapse. Using this subsidiary alliance, these Marathas, Rajput kingdoms, Hyderabad, Awadh, this was brought. Now, on what grounds was annexation of Awadh done? Let us see. Awadh was annexed by the British on the pretext of misgovernance or maladministration. That is, the administration is not being efficiently done by the rulers. They are not able to manage the administration. So, we are going to take this region under our control. Now, Awadh was very important region because it had a huge potential as a market for the British manufactured goods. Awadh was hugely populated, quite rich region. So, people would invest a lot in these manufactured goods. So, it was a huge market where Britishers, they can dump their, factory goods here. They can bring from England their manufactured goods, and here they will be easily sold and it would earn huge profits for them. So Awadh was a good market for their own goods. So that is why British found Awadh very profitable region. So they were looking for reasons how to gain control over this region. So let us understand how things unfolded, what happened. Awadh, we have seen that it had entered into a subsidiary alliance with the British at the time of Lord Wellesley. We know the points of subsidiary alliance. The troops will be installed here. The king will meet their expenses. A British resident will be allowed to stay here who will decide the foreign policies. Now, this treaty, that is this subsidiary alliance, it protected Awadh from internal revolts as well as external invasions by the British government. The British government had said that we are entering into subsidiary alliance. We will protect you from any internal invasion or from any external invasion or any internal revolt. In exchange, you follow these terms and conditions. So this was the treaty. The Nawab, now when the Nawab, the rulers of Awadh were known as the Nawab of Awadh, they became complacent and unconcerned. That is, they became very relaxed. Okay, now the Britishers are going to save us if any chaos happens here, if anybody attacks us. So we are not going to be so bothered. They will take care. That is why, as you must be aware, we use it sarcastically when we say that you are the Nawab hai yahan ke Lucknow ke, Nawab of Lucknow or Nawab of Awadh, because they were very relaxed and chilled out. Okay, the British will take care. We did not need not to be so bothered about it. So they became very relaxed about the management of the state affairs. And the Britishers, they took advantage of this situation and they said the Nawabs, they are not able to handle the administration. They are doing nothing here. They are totally incapable. So, on the grounds of misgovernance, they went on to gain the control of Awadh. So the Nawab of Awadh, Wajid Ali Shah, was deposed. As you can say, he was removed from his position of being the ruler in 1856. So when did the annexation of Awadh happen? In 1856. Who was the ruler of Awadh? Wajid Ali Shah. On what grounds was Awadh annexed? On the grounds of misgovernance or maladministration. This is the picture of the Nawab of Awadh that you can see. He was the Nawab of Awadh, Wajid Ali Shah. So now we have talked how Lord Dalhousie's policy of doctrine of lapse was used to, gain control over the region of Satara, Jhansi, Nagpur. How, on the pretext of maladministration, they got control over the region of Awadh. Now we will be talking about annexation of Sindh, which happened in 1843. Now British, they wanted to annex this region of Sindh as they wanted to get control over Afghanistan. Let us have a look at the map. See, this is the region of Sindh, and British, they wanted that if they will get control over this Sindh, then they can easily go on to this Afghanistan region and have control over this also. And they found it very important to have control of this Afghanistan region because of the Russian invasion that was happening at that point of time. So the Russians, they were coming from there, they were attacking So there was always a threat. The Britishers knew that the Indian rulers, they will not be able to, provide defense at the borders. So they need to gain control over these regions so as to protect any external invasion from happening. So that is why we see that British, they wanted to annex Sindh, as they wanted to gain control over the region of Afghanistan, and the Russian invasions that were happening from Afghanistan, which was a threat to British rule, that they can come and attack, and they can go on to wipe out the British rule in India. They thought that it is better if we quickly gain control over these border regions, secure the frontiers, the borders, and not let them enter into the country. So in 1839, the Amir, or the chief of the Sindh, he was also made to sign the subsidiary alliance by the Britishers. So we see, we have already talked about subsidiary alliance introduced by Lord Wellesley. What were its points? So we see that ultimately Sindh region also enters into subsidiary alliance with the Britishers, and then Sindh is annexed by Sir Charles Napier, and it becomes the part of the British Dominion when? In 1843. So finally in 1843 it becomes a part of the British Dominion. So again, this is also important, annexation of Awadh, annexation of Sindh, which where first they bring in this subsidiary alliance, and then eventually they go on to annex this region, which is annexed by Sir Charles Napier in 1843. So we see how these Britishers, shrewdly they came up with one policy, other strategy, wars and everything, to expand their rule in the country, to gain direct or indirect rule over different regions, and that is how they go on to expand and eventually go on to rule over the entire country. Now we have already seen the map also. They go on to acquire this region of Sindh in 1843. The Sikh kingdom, it's conquered in 1849 and so on. Now, what are in generally the factors responsible that British went on to succeed one after the other? Why did they go on to succeed? Why were the Indian native rulers not aware of the things happening? How come they let this happen? So first is rivalry between kingdoms. We see that India had very small kingdoms at that point of time. All the regions, they were under different rulers. They were themselves fighting amongst each other to gain control over each other. They were not united. So British took advantage of that. They would enter into a friendly terms with one kingdom and go on to defeat the other one. So they were the fight amongst themselves itself, gave an advantage to the Britishers, who went on to use this rivalry and gain control over different regions. The Indian rulers did not realize then they need to get united against this foreign entity, the Britishers, fight against the Britishers. They instead started taking help from British to defeat their own personal enemies. And this is the rivalry between kingdoms which provided an opportunity to the British to gain control and be successful. Then there was unorganized Indian states and inefficient administration. Now these small kingdoms, they were very inefficiently managed. The administration was very poor. The rulers did not take very sincere steps to make their kingdoms very strong. So there was unorganized states, and the administration was also not up to the mark. Then another factor we see that superior British army and the navy, the weapons that Britishers were using, the army was well disciplined. They were properly organized, properly trained. So we see that this gave an added advantage to the British people, to the Britishers, who went on to defeat one region or after the other. The kingdoms here we see they had a very unofficial or inorganized kind of army, not so disciplined. The weapons were also medieval age weapons that they were using. So they obviously failed in front of the properly organized, disciplined British army with superior technology and weapons that they used. Then we see another factor was implementation of policies. Then the Britishers came up with several policies like subsidiary alliance, doctrine of paramountcy, doctrine of lapse, which they used for their own advantage to get inside the Indian states, get indirect rule over them, and have them under their control. So as we saw that, eventually they installed, we just studied about subsidiary alliance. The Britishers, they installed their own troops in the different kingdoms, saying that they will protect your kingdom, and at the expense of the Indian states. The Indian rulers themselves gave the salary of the British soldiers to protect them. So internally also the British soldiers had entered into each kingdom, and if we look from outside, so we see that so many British soldiers, British army was installed in different regions. So obviously they had gained control over our country. So they very strategically and smartly had entered into different regions and made their hold strong. Then luxurious life of the Indian rulers. Now when these alliances were formed, where the Britishers said that okay, we will give you army, we will give you protection, nobody will attack you, and you can go on to rule. So the Indian rulers like the Nawab of Awadh, they became very relaxed. Okay, the Britishers will see to it, we need not be worried about it, and they began to enjoy the luxurious life. They were not concerned with the political management, social affairs of the state. The Britishers will manage that, and they began to enjoy their royal life. So obviously they became good for nothing, not in a state to put up a fight with the British, and they were spoiled. And another major reason we see is that British did not spread Christianity like the Portuguese and Spanish. So we see that the other European powers who had come to India, the Portuguese, the Spanish, the French, for trading purpose, they also had the purpose of spreading Christianity. So Indian people were very scared of them, of wary of them, that they are here for conversions. So they were looked at them with very much suspicions. Now the Britishers were not as much involved in these activities like them, so they did not fear or were not so suspicious of the Britishers, and that is why they let Britishers, slowly and steadily come up with their policies, and they did not get very suspicious about them so as to take a stand against the Britishers. So we see all these factors, they worked together, combined together to make it possible for the Britishers to, slowly and steadily gain control over one region after the other, and eventually over the whole of the country. So this brings an end to the topic how the Britishers came as traders and they go on to acquire control, expand their rule over the country using different policies and strategies, and what were the combined factors which helped them in their success.